Hello everyone and welcome. This is Rancer DS and we're going to talk about something that's happening in the gaming industry regarding computer PCs. The great GPU shortage of 1920 and 21. Now, even British Broadcasting Company has decided to write an article about the shortage that's currently occurring. This is updated as of 3 days ago. They're saying gaming's never been more popular, which is probably true. We won't doubt that anymore, with COVID being an issue like it is. Got a quick look at Cyberpunk 2077, and now then we get to the big shortage reasoning. And of course, restrictions by the United States. Also, imports may play a small part in this, but a lot of people feel that cyber currency mining is at the top of the list, and it probably is. But I wanted to point out something that's just out and out scary when it comes to this shortage. Not only do you have scalpers asking ridiculous prices, like you're looking at over $300 for a GTX 1650, and if you want to go with a 1660 SC Ultra Gaming, which is decidedly better, but I don't know if it's $100 better, and the overclock edition is $459, but again, these are scalpers selling. If we go to the older models, like the GTX 1070, which would be better than the 1660 in some regards, you're looking at $600 and something for the price. And of course the 1080, they're getting anywhere from $800 to $1,000, $1,200, $1,400. I'm okay with that because at some point these prices are going to drop, and those scalpers that think they're going to sell a video card for $1,500 are going to find out it's not worth as much as they thought it is. And even here it says you've got another buying choice for $650, so I don't know, maybe this guy will leave it out there for a couple of years and then finally go to eBay with it and try to sell it for $400, who knows. But what is really scary to me is if you go to Amazon.com and you type in video card, the types of things you're going to see if you're sorting based on price, besides typical low-end products related to video card gaming, like the brackets and so forth, you're going to get into what I call hot garbage. And I'll try to be as brief as I can on this point. Here you have a $8 card, and of course $8 or $9 for shipping and handling. And we can see it's only got two outputs, which is one is the DVI, and we may have the HDMI output, which is fine, except these are very, very low performing cards. When I say low performing, we're talking about going back to the days of Voodoo cards or Sound Blaster video card, even the Matrox video series. And I'll go into it more, but again, we're going to see cases of old model cards coming to the forefront because all these other cards are not available. Just a moment, we'll see if we can find a perfect example. It would be nice if they hid the items that were no longer available or that didn't have a price. But, you know, Amazon's going to do what they do. And we can see we're still dealing with a lot of the accessories for these video cards, like brackets and stands for crypto miners. Okay, here's a Dell KH276. We have a single output, and from a quick glance it doesn't look like it has active cooling. It says renewed, so I guess it's refurbished. And there's no mention of video memory on here. So we'll keep looking. And I still haven't got to the really terrifying part. But here's a good example. The Dell, well, someone can't spell Radeon, HD24XT. Well, I like to use Video Benchmark because it gives you an idea of what kind of performance you're looking at for the card. It's not by any means a definitive measure, but it gives you an idea how much power, how much capability is going to come with that card. So we're going to go ahead and look up the model here, HD2400XT. And we're going to assume it's this one. 102. Now I don't know if you paid attention when it was on the 1080s and 1070s, but we were over 10,000. And here it's 102, which means it is literally hot garbage. Well, you know, if you spent $25, $20, $30, something like that, and you got burned, you probably aren't going to feel like it's the end of the world. But I'm afraid it's not going to stop there, because a lot of these companies are pushing out not only old products that they've had in inventory, or pushing out used products. Hopefully it will sell. But I mean, they're literally coming out with stuff that's so outdated. The 128 meg video card, that's not any video memory to speak of whatsoever. Again, we're not seeing actual choices here, but as we get further along, we seem to be getting closer to the actual problems that we're going to see. And I don't remember seeing this many accessories when looking for video cards, but okay, here we go. HD 2400, $19. X1300, we'll go ahead and look at that. Now this one was 102. X1300, well, there we go, 39. So you're paying $20. That is roughly the equivalent of 33% of the capability of a card we looked at earlier. We were paying $30 for. They're charging $20 for this one, and someone actually reviewed it. We'll bring up that review. And all they did was mark it with a number of stars. They didn't actually type anything about it, which I'm sure we knew it wasn't going to be anything good. Here's an X600 Pro for $256, but now we're in the $40 to $50 range. And only 56 to 91, which isn't great at all. And bear in mind, you were able to buy GT 210s, GT 710s, GT 730s, maybe used, but some of them were starting at around that price. There's another X1300 for $20. Here's an 8 meg video card, the old ATI Rage. They're not putting an actual model number here, but let's see if we can find it. No, they didn't even bother benchmarking knows it would probably be somewhere in this 3, 4, or 5 range, if that. But if we jump ahead as quickly as possible, oh, maybe my search was graphics card. I remember what the search was: video card for PC gaming. Okay, we'll thumb through this as fast as we can to get to those prices I was talking about earlier. See, we're already in the $40 range here. 8400 GS for $50. Whopping score of 113 for a $50 card. That's not counting tax. And if we jump another page, we see the GT210. There's actually a little bit of value there, but we're still talking about a pretty low-end card. And again, it may not be rated. Oh, we'll try taking out. No, we tried taking out the space. Okay. HD 3470. $93, and you're still paying $55 plus another $5 is $60 for taxes. And it keeps getting worse. Here's A400 GS, almost $70. I mean, we just saw it was 100 for a pass mark rating. GT710, and you know, when you start spending $70 something to start getting some real value, you know you're in serious trouble. There we go, 635. I mean, that's at least 5 times, if not 6 times better than a lot of these cars we looked at. So we're going to get to the real issue. First one is the Nayuto GT730 for $75, free shipping. Well, this is clearly a Chinese brand. We've got Chinese symbols on the face of the fan here, so it's probably being shipped directly from China, and we've been having issues with fake graphics cards because of the shortage, so we don't know exactly what it is. It could be the 730, and again, the 730 is not a terrible card, but you're still looking at sub 1000 on a pass mark rating. HD 7570, probably a little over 1,000. My bad. Nope, not quite. About the same, 600 and something. And any of these cards that have these fan housings, you would think would be rather high end, and HD 7670 is probably starting to break out of these low end cards. $841. Yeah, it's still not even 1,000. So you're not probably generating that much heat. But the fact that it looks like a gaming card is what people are going to see. And it doesn't give a brand. It's an unbranded name. If we look at the seller, we'll see it says Lesius, which we're not even going to try to find any information out about this company. $100 card already. It's a low profile. It has a tiny fan. We're supposed to believe this is going to produce high-end graphics. I mean, you're better off going to Best Buy and paying overly inflated prices for their products, because you know they're going to be rather decent, stable, branded items that you can buy off the shelf there. You're not going to be getting these no-name companies like Qing Mei. Now we're at $140. R7 240. If we take a quick look at that, again, it's not even $1,000, and you're paying $140 for a no-name. I mean, here we go again. The 630, 140. I mean, it just keeps getting more and more painful. Tang Tang. At least I can say the name, right? $154 for a 2 gig video card. Granted, it's had a lot of memory compared to the others by far, but still, most gamers are looking for 4 gig or 6 gig, preferably 8 gig. Another unbranded card, it's GTX 650, actually is not a terrible card. $1,757, so it's sub 2,000, but it's just the pricing that's terrible. It's $170 with another $16 thrown in there, so now you're looking at $187. But it takes 3 to 5 weeks to receive it. Yeah, the 6450 for $180. Another Chinese brand. And just looking at the card, it doesn't look like a high-end card. I mean, it doesn't have the metal heatsink of a higher end, like a GTX 1050 or GTX 1070 or the GTX 1650. But it quickly gets worse. Another unbranded $200, and of course then you've got it doesn't even tell you the model. It says it handles 4K. It does have VGA, DVI-D, and HDMI outputs, and supports PCI Express 3.0. But for $200, you're just getting a streaming video card. It's getting worse. Another unbranded, now at $215. Chinese $215. And I just did a search based off one of the things that came up in the listing regarding gaming, and you still haven't seen any brand names. You haven't seen XFX, MSI, Sapphire, or PowerColor, which are considered lower end companies. They're not here, and this makes me think this is not a really legitimate offering. Someone's created this category and hoping to take advantage. We're still seeing these Chinese brands, and now we're getting closer to $250 range. Unbranded, I don't know what's going on. There's one, it looks like it's got the housing, it's more of a gaming card. It does have 4 gig of RAM. The RX 460 is a relatively recent video card, in the last 10 years anyway. And we see the performance of that is 4,000. Now you're starting to get into cards that can run Minecraft. So are you better off just buying a old PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3? Or maybe you could get a PlayStation 4 for this and just play Minecraft on it. So this graphics card shortage is, I don't know if it's going to get better in the near future, but we can see NVIDIA and AMD can't make product fast enough, and all these companies and all these individuals are trying to take advantage of these lower end cards and literally throw it out there for you to gobble it up because you can't buy anything else. Best Buy should know what a good product is. They should be able to tell you when you walk in there, I want to buy a video card that can handle a certain type of game. Now, would they stop and actually tell you this card will run recent titles? So the 710 for $70 is not going to do much more than Minecraft on low settings on a relatively small screen. You're not going to be able to go widescreen, full screen on it. Here you have a Pony. Oh, it's unavailable. It actually says nearby somewhere. Unavailable nearby, so I might have to drive to Kansas, spend $220 for a card that used to sell for $150. I don't know when it's going to get better. I honestly don't know. Here we go. Cards that you can get are, I'm sorry, sold out. And even if you go to Newegg and look at the high-end cards, you'll see out of stock for $1,500, $2,000 cards. I wish I had a good prognosis for when this industry will turn around. I just don't know when that is. I'd like to buy a video card myself and play video games. I'd like to be able to play Red Dead Redemption 2. I'd like to be able to play Grand Theft Auto 5. There's probably a couple others. Rust, maybe. But I don't want to spend $250, $300, $400 for a video card when I'm not even sure I have that much invested in the entire computer. But that's what we're looking at, and hopefully one day we won't have to look at these ridiculously high prices to consider being able to buy something, because when they produce these cards, they're not going to produce too many of these $800 cards when they're selling out of the $2,000 card or $1,500 cards. Those are the ones that are going to produce first because they generate the most revenue. So again, hopefully soon things will turn around. Watch out for scalpers. Watch out for unreputable sellers on eBay, and by all means try to avoid Chinese brand or no brand unbranded products. I'd hate for anybody to get burned during this crisis. But right now the used card market on eBay is probably the best way to go, unless you just get lucky on Craigslist, and even then that's a very questionable route to go. Thank you for your time, and I hope everybody enjoyed this show.